All right, guys, in this episode, we are in Alpine, Wyoming. We're going to talk to you about what we thought of the riding here, some big country, some awesome memories. So let's jump right into it.
Look, I don't want to talk. How you try and press the kid and read it, you was soft. All you know is
all right, guys, welcome back to yet another episode of Let's Cess Podcast. Today, like stated in the intro, we are in Alpine, Wyoming with the boys. We came up here for the hill climbs that we will dive into in another podcast we watched today, but we wanted to dive in and talk about the riding around Alpine, Wyoming. So we've been talking about coming up here. We finally got up here, and so we want to tell you guys about it. Before we jump into it, please like, subscribe, share to a homie. Blackbird merch is live, link in the bio. Powderbound, if you want to come ride with the two fellas, that is in the bio. And this podcast will also be on Spotify and Apple Music. So, all right, let's dive right into it. What do you guys think overall?
I was very, very impressed. Kind of like starting off when we were driving into town, which I've been in the area before. Like we had snowcross in Jackson and stuff like that. So I've been here in the wintertime. I actually rode here when I was a kid. I don't remember any of that. But for some reason, it didn't really set in that like we were going to be riding this mountain range until we were like driving in. And it was like, those are some real mountains. Those are big. Like that's some big country.
Yeah,
and
what's weird is they seem so big. And in my opinion, like what makes mountains seem, quote, big is the elevation.
Yeah.
And but what's weird is like you're not really that high in elevation here compared to what we normally ride. It just looks so big. Like you're above timberline, big open bowls, nasty avalanche chutes. Yep. And then you look down and you're at 9,500 feet.
I think we get that idea because like in Colorado, our huge mountains like this are those 14ers.
Yeah.
So like we think, and that's where we, get that subalpine and alpine terrain is above that 12.5 there. So like we just don't run into it until it is like a super, super high up there tall mountain. And we don't ever ride any of those. Like they're not really rideable. So I think that's where we don't really expect it here. But man, was it eye-opening. And like, I know me and Marcus, when we were talking a couple times, it was like, you scared? And it was like, yep, sure am. Like this is different.
Yeah, from what we normally ride, this like this kind of riding to me is uncomfortable.
It's intimidating.
Yeah,
for sure.
Very intimidating.
Avalanches are in the back of your mind like 100% of the time.
Yeah.
They can't not be when you look on a ridge and there's an avalanche. It just happened.
You can see a huge avalanche everywhere you're at,
Yeah.
Where normally where we ride, I mean, it's in our mind, but it's not.
2-3 times a winter, maybe we'll see a slide.
Yeah.
Little slide.
Slide. Nothing big like we seen yesterday.
Yeah. Those are the biggest slides I've ever seen, for sure. That one was massive.
Like 300 yards long, probably.
Yeah. With a train trap at the bottom and crazy. So anyway, like as we got into Alpine, it was like, breathtaking, like huge, awesome, cool.
The river.
Like I was fired up about getting like to go. And we were able to check into the Airbnb a little early the day we got in. So we came over here, booked an Airbnb. We didn't do any research, I guess. And none of us did, of like where the trail was at, how we could get to a trailhead. So actually this morning that we're not riding, Marcus saw some snowmobiles drive by that there's a trail literally beside the house. So we trailered to the trailhead. But we also had to back down the driveway. Like I booked this place expecting, because I messaged him. I was like, "Is there trailer parking? Because we're bringing a gooseneck." And they're like, "Oh yeah, great RV parking. It's all good." And we get here and it's like a 1/4 mile driveway that you have to like back up, and it's like,
this is wide as a trailer.
Yeah, it's as wide as the trailer, and it's like got to turn in. And you're like, sick. All right. So,
in their defense, I would consider it trailer parking. It would be a lot more convenient in the summertime.
Oh, in the summertime, it's a completely different story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, minor things, but like that was pretty cool. And then if we would have known the trail was right there, that would have been super sick because we wouldn't have had to trailer. But maybe that opens it up for next year. Maybe we will stay at this house again. It's a pretty nice place.
Yeah, this house is awesome. So for those of you wondering, we rode out of Gray River lot.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's right past Dan Adams' place, if you're familiar with him and his content, which is the biggest thing for me that I thought was cool is the lot is like 3 or 4 minutes from town.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
and the
like
lot's
right
huge.
there. Lot's huge. Yeah, you can get a ginormous trailer in. The lot was not full, but there was a lot of people.
Pretty busy.
And we only saw 2 people up riding. So when you start, it's beautiful, a lot prettier in my opinion than what we normally ride.
Yeah, normally we don't ride like up river bottoms or up like big drainages and like climb 2,000 feet of elevation. Like we do climb, but it's like normally like a county road almost, and
Yeah.
like low scrub brush and stuff like that until you get up into the trees. And then it's like, well, now we're in trees. Now we're in the forest, you know? And
Yeah.
that's like how it all starts, is like once we hit the forest, now we're in the trees, aspens, pines, whatever. This was like following river bottom and real pretty.
Going
and
over
up
bridges.
bridges, up drainages where you're looking at water flowing and waterfalls and
Yeah.
stuff. Looking up at Abbey Train.
Looking up at the elk.
Yeah.
Seeing elk as we ride. Like just super, super cool. Like the first day I was just content riding the trail. Like
Yeah.
when we rode up the trail, I was just like, yeah, I'm good with this. Like give me a 4-stroke and I'm happy. Like no need to do more.
Yeah. So
But-
we went up the bottom, and then there in the mid range of elevation of what we were riding, in my opinion, it was a lot like what we normally ride.
Yeah.
Tighter trees, some easier going terrain.
Yep.
And then we got way back past, where we parked. I guess it's not way back. It's probably 10 miles back, which seems
Yeah.
ridiculous. Well, we got back in there, and then you get into what I like to call art of flight terrain, where you're above timberline, big poles. Like we were talking today, we all did this pole that I didn't really like the idea of doing the pole because it just looked like a hill that is in the video of an avalanche with someone dying in it.
Well, and you could tell it has slid.
Yeah.
Like you knew it had slid like prior.
Yeah, and our snowmobile brains got the best of us. So these guys climbed it. They told me to Skeet Dog's with us. He climbed it. And so then I climbed it. And we were talking today. Nowhere where we ride, you were pinned for that long, going that fast. I had to pop my ears, swear to God, twice on that pole.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy smokes. Like, this is just crazy. Not a tree in sight, just rock cliffs above you.
Yeah, pure rock. Just
Yeah.
like gnarly rock face above you. And that's what's wild is like that it was all backside, like north facing, northeast facing probably. And it's so wind loaded from the wind. Like, I mean, there's so much snow back there. We should have pulled the probe out and probed it, honestly, because I'll bet there's places there that like
30 foot deep, probably.
stupid deep, I'll bet. Like insane the amount of snow that gets loaded.
But dude,
in there.
it looked like rock terrain, and obviously on the rock cliffs you could see the rocks. But I bet you look at that in the summer, and there's boulders all over where we were riding, and we didn't even see them.
Yeah.
Like it's
Or
so
feel 'em.
loaded with snow. Yeah.
Where in Colorado, it's like, it's a boulder field and you're going to feel one of them.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to know it.
Yeah.
So.
Talking about snow, before we get into the actual day, the light's going haywire. Before we get into the day, the snow was, in my opinion, for this time of year, what is it? It's March 22nd today. It was, you cannot complain about the snow.
No.
The snow is incredible for this time of year, but this terrain yields itself to the potential for a lot of like cool jumping, cool features.
Yep.
And in my opinion, there was 2 problems with yesterday riding this terrain to like limit us on those features. One was a lot of it was hard packed
Yep.
or semi hard packed where you didn't want to boot it or anything
Right.
like that. But I would say too, the biggest thing, the light was pretty dang flat all
The
day.
visibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially being in a place you're unfamiliar, doing things that you're really uncomfortable with, honestly.
Yeah.
And then like to go build a jump and anything like that, like you just couldn't see what you were doing, which normally we can like throw branches and things like that and make it work. But there was just too many other factors that it was like, we ain't even going to risk this. Right. And we don't know the ways out and things like that. So
And we're kids in candy stores where it's like, let's go over there, let's go over here, let's go
Yeah.
over there, let's go over here. We never, the thought of us sitting there and making a jump for 30 minutes was really not in the question that day or yesterday.
especially knowing like you couldn't even shoot it with a camera and make it look good. Like
Yeah.
it would be a lot of effort for something that just wouldn't turn out.
Yeah.
So
And the potential of something bad happening was probably in reality a lot higher than what we'd want it to be to do something like that in an unfamiliar zone 12 miles from a trail.
Yeah.
taking that risk way out there, definitely, something we've preached on the podcast is like limit your risk and liability out there. And that was what we had to do with all the factors,
What do you think, Marcus? What was like something that stood out to you?
Mainly the snow density here.
Yeah.
It's like a lot thicker than what we got,
Yeah.
I guess you could say, or more hard packed really.
Yeah.
But a
soft.
lot of traction. It's soft, but you still got a lot of traction,
Yeah, that's true.
which is nice because tree riding was really fun out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could like access steeper, deeper terrain, it seemed like, and still could like maneuver in it.
Carry
speed.
momentum. Yeah.
And maybe it was just that last storm, but I feel like it's almost comparing where we ride in Colorado to like Brant's place. Like from here to our place,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like we don't get that sugar that Brant gets, but we
We
get
have
a
fluffy.
But we get a lot closer to sugar than at least this storm's delivered here.
We
Yeah.
get blower, and out
Yeah.
here they get, I don't even know what you call it here.
Denser, wetter.
Yeah.
But you wonder if it's just because it's March 22nd.
I don't think so. I've kind of heard that around here that it's just kind of that way snowpack wise. But I guess that's what was so wild about it was it's like if you stepped on it, it was like concrete then. But when you rode it, it was like riding soft, good powder. It was just really, really funky that way.
Especially back in the trees.
Yeah.
That's the problem with like the open stuff is like I feel like you'd have to come here and really like storm chase
Yeah.
to get in that open stuff. Cause dude, it's like we were talking about today. Does it ever stop snowing and blowing here?
It doesn't seem
It
like
doesn't seem like it. Like in the wind, we're in Wyoming. Stereotype is
be-
wind, but
we're on vacation and we wanted to get pictures and video, and it's windy
yeah.
And
because we're here.
Yeah, it could have made that.
and
too.
it could be just like the small sample size we have, right? We're only here for 4 days.
Yeah.
But for the 4 days that we're here, not a single bluebird day. So I almost wonder if that kind of has an effect on the snowpack too. Like we're used to over 200 bluebird days a year down there where we're at. And like we have a lot of bluebird nice days. So you get a storm and then you get a bluebird day. And I mean, our snow takes an effect with it, especially this time of the year. But I almost wonder if their snow stays better here because it seemed like the layers consistently down were better, softer snow when you got in that fresh stuff. So it doesn't seem like the sun bakes it as much here, maybe. Where we get that sun bake. But they get wind burn, and that sub-alpine shit.
Yeah, I mean, if that stuff, I guarantee you, I would bet money that the wind's ripping all the time there.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the cornices off the top of those mountains.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen in a couple days of wind. That's all season blowing like that.
What did you think about that last pull that we did? Like, it was that long one, and like we went up it, and then there was that like turn at the top.
Yeah,
like
that was
was cool to do. Like,
Dude,
that was way cool to do.
I came up that, Skeeter was in front of me, and he like comes up the bend and gets to the top, and I come up just pinned. And I'm like, I look at the track and it's up and to the left, and that sled was pitched over. I look down, I'm going 65 miles an hour, just flying up that thing. Like, you just don't get that where we ride in Colorado. It's like slow trees,
lot slower.
stuff like that. Yeah, it's a lot slower. Like we were talking about, I mean, if you rode here a lot, I could definitely see like long track, big boost, lockout in the rear.
Yeah.
I really think that that'd be the ticket up here. And even further north, like as you go towards Canada, I feel like the pulls get bigger and bigger and bigger.
For sure. So I have to agree.
So, okay, let's talk about the actual day riding. So we had two huge scares.
Yeah.
So the first one, Adge, take it away. I'll say this first. I hear on the radio, we got a ski-doo down. And I thought you were just stuck.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit more than
A
stuck.
little more than stuff.
And by the way, on on all this stuff that happened, we're going to put a YouTube video out that actually we filmed a lot yesterday and a little bit the day before. So if you guys want to watch the actual YouTube video of us riding, that will be posted on this channel in the next week or so. But anyway, so you say that Ski-Doo down.
Ski-Doo down. There was a pretty awesome hill, deep. I mean, someone had rode it already once earlier and put like 2 bow ties on it and a hop over or something. And me and Marcus pulled up to it. You and Thomas were on the way up. And I was like, I'm going to go to the top of this and just see what it looks like at the top. And Marcus was like, yeah, okay. So we like get ready to take off. And I'm going up it. And, you know, early before we had stopped and talked, my sled kind of ratcheted the track a little bit. And I just thought, you know, hit a hard track. Like, no, didn't think anything of it because it's done it a couple times this year. And I just got to tighten the track. It's not a big deal. Well, I sent her up the hill and was about 2/3 of the way up and went to like hop over to keep my momentum and like kind of side hill up and out. And I like go to transfer from, I was left like on the left hand side and then transfer to the right hand side and the hop over. And the second I get the front end over, it just goes like full ratchet, ejecto-cedo over the bars because I had all the momentum from the hop over, sends me flying down the hill, sled starts rolling, and it's like, oh, I thought I blew a belt. So I like ready to like Ski-Doo down, and like Marcus stops he goes to the top and he's like, everything good? And I'm like, I think I just blew a belt, but hoped that I blew a belt, but it sounded bad. So roll it over, pull the clutch panel off. Belt's fine. Belt's great.
I was pretty dang nervous when you told me that.
Yeah, because it sounded bad. It was not a good noise. So yeah, and then when the belt's good, I was like, oh, that's either chain case or something worse, right? We're dragging this thing out. We just got here, like as far away as we planned on going for the day, 14 miles back up a drainage.
6.5 hours from home.
Yeah, like no idea what the trail to get like out of there was going to be like. And we didn't go in there on the trail. We cross countryed it because we were exploring. So what was in my head was yikes. So I get her piloted down, which thank goodness it didn't do more damage when I did that. But get her to the bottom where I can look at it. And the rear axle bolt, because I've got 10-inch big wheels on it. So not the one that tightens the axle, but the one inside that tightens to because it's an offset axle for the big wheels, the one that tightens the offset. The right-hand side bolt had came out. So, but it locks itself in there. So we still had the bolt. So I didn't know if it broke it. I didn't know if it snapped the axle. I thought it snapped the axle. And then Marcus was like, hey, I think maybe check and see if the threads are there. So I'm like, yeah, let's hope, right? So then we start taking it apart, get it all apart. And thank goodness. Threads were there. Bolt is there. Nothing was broken. It just literally came loose. And I've never checked those bolts in my life. I've always just checked the ones that hold the axle tight for doing track tension. Mm-hmm. So that's where the one on the right-hand side, when I did that hop over, it makes sense because I had tension on the track on the left side. I had it until I did to the right. So on a good note, it was like, cool, we can fix this here and get the sled out. Bad note is when it did that, I roasted my drivers. I mean, full boost, wide open, and it just mowed them down. Gone.
Gone.
So luckily, we were able to get the axle fixed, back together, and then just ran that track banjo tight to where it pretty much had no other option but to spin. And it still would ratchet like under heavy load. So I didn't want to ruin the day for the fellas. So they continued to ride. I just did some filming and I was able to get around. I think there was only the one time where it ratcheted at the top of the hill, and that's when I rolled over up there and then you like wadded yourself on that tree.
The tree?
Well, you were just like, you weren't on the tree, but because Thomas was over here, I was over here, and you had no out right before he blew the spark plug.
Oh.
So it was right there.
Dude, I came into that bitch hot.
I was coming hot up it, and then I hit this wall, and it went, again. And I was like, oh shit. So I back off, and then I just like lost momentum and couldn't make it then because it wouldn't like I couldn't build more speed. So I was just having to hit everything at like Mach 1 at the bottom and then just like slow it down at the top. But I was able to get around good enough to like explore, see some amazing things. And I'm super glad that I was able to see everything we did, because if I would have missed out on that afternoon, that would have sucked. That was some cool stuff.
Yeah, and then the second shit show of the day was we're climbing out of one of the zones, and Skeet Dog goes to climb up the hill, and me and Marcus are sitting lower on the hill, and Marcus looks at me and he goes,
Did you hear that?
Yeah, did you hear that? That didn't sound good. I'm like, no, I didn't hear it. He goes, shit.
More.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we just lost an engine.
Yeah. So then Thomas radios, I think there's something wrong here. And then I think I radioed him. I'm like, will it start? And he's like, yeah, but it like is like rumbling really low. So then you went up, parked above him. And then I'm like, I'll just climb out, because he was almost at the top of the hill when it did that. And then you were like splitting the difference.
Yep.
I come hauling, dude, full throttle, boost just barking up this hill. And we're unfamiliar with the area, obviously. I get to the top where my eyes can see, and I started slowing down. As soon as I can see over, it's a freaking sheer cliff. And I'm barking, so I lock the brake up, like fall down, sled rolls down. And then you guys got into the sled, and it was just a spark plug that blew out of the hole.
Yeah, spark plug just unthreaded, and there
Left
she
the
was
chat.
laying on top of the head. So we threaded her back in and hooked the wire back up, and off we went.
Yeah.
I was terrified for that situation because it was like 4:30.
Yeah.
Like late.
You don't have headlights.
We don't have headlights.
Yeah.
And we had we'd just been up in some huge country and came down, and Marcus dipped down in the drainage that we thought we could go down, and he turned around, and you can kind of tell like how that was, because
So we were in this big bowl, and there was kind of like a big crest in the middle of it, just splitting two bowls in the middle. Mm-hmm. And we were on the right side one, and Thomas was sitting right at the top of the crest, kind of where that cliff is where you almost dropped off. Mm-hmm. And down from that, there was big drainage that dropped to the bottom where we came up earlier in the morning. So I'm like, well, shoot, I think we can shortcut this out. And I kind of started dropping down it, and I got like maybe 80 yards down it. And I looked up to my left, and it was like, that's a 300-yard slide right there to a terrain trap.
It was already slid out.
It slid, but there was enough snow there to slide again.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, we're not going to go that way.
Yeah. And that was like the only easy way out of that drainage. It was literally up massive. Well, the one that I could barely get up with my sled in the condition it was. And then the other way is where we just climbed up to like the top. Like there was no way to drop down that either.
Yeah.
So it was like you had to get over that ridge to get out of there. That was the only way.
Yeah.
And luckily, you were able to get that spark plug back in there and everything was okay. But for a minute there, I mean, I was just sitting up on the ridge hearing the radio going, we're in for either a heli or like a long, long day today. You know, like it was going to be miserable.
Would have been cool to have Diesel Dave come get it with the old chopper, though.
Yeah, Heavy D with the Blackhawk.
Oof, that would have been fun.
Yeah.
It's close, nearby.
Kind of nearby, yeah. So the riding was great overall. I thought it's definitely something that I'd like to come back to midwinter next year. I'd also like to come up here in the summer. It's beautiful up here. But I do want to talk about kind of the nights on the town. The town of Alpine is not a big one. I think the population sign is 1,200.
Pretty small. I don't
Is
know.
it 1,200? Whatever.
I didn't see it.
Probably should have looked that up. But wow, we've had a time.
We went to kind of a dive bar the first night, and the food was incredible.
It was money mine.
Oh,
it was a
good food.
tavern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little
Ski
tavern on
dog,
the
ski
river.
dog signaling. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The service was incredible.
Yeah.
Great time. Second night, we went to a little bit bigger, maybe a little nicer place.
The bull moose.
The
The bull moose.
Yep.
Saw a nice bar fight.
Yep. Guy got his blanked.
Yeah.
Rocked.
Rocked.
Like
He was on the bench with the police around him when we left, and
the
wow.
old GMC headlights were lighting his face up good.
Daddy got smoked in that one.
Oof. So had a good meal there. Everything was good. Had
Yeah.
a punching bag, which funny enough, the guy that got his beat was warming up on said punching bag before he did.
Yeah.
So he was like giving her his best go. And
It's
then
like
he-
those like arcade punching bags where it's
Yeah.
like you pay money, the bag drops down, you hit it, and then it gives you like a score of how hard your hit was.
Yeah.
So he was in there, you know, Conor McGregoring himself up before he went and got his face beat in.
Slammed pretty hard. It
Yeah.
looked like, I don't think his warm up might have just got him tired.
Yeah.
So,
So skeet dog. But anyway, so then we had to we didn't know
Partake.
what was gonna, you know, hit us in the parking lot. So we had to also warm up.
Yep.
And that was actually fun. I've never hit one of those things before.
yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
You
I
got
think
a
we
punch.
dropped like $80 on that machine.
Yeah.
We spent some time there.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
it was fun though. I mean, I think it's rigged. Pretty sure it's rigged.
Yeah.
But
A 946. Nobody's punching a 946 at a bar.
in Alpine,
I don't know. Conor McGregor might have been here.
hey, maybe the person listening is the one with the 946 at the Bull Moose. So
Oh, light went off.
we lost the light, but don't mind our dark face.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you are a listener and you got the 946 at the Bull Moose, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, we also saw some podcast listeners there that we chatted with. So
Yeah.
if you're listening to this pod, we appreciate you saying what's up.
Yeah. Appreciate all the listeners that we've talked to on this trip. We've seen quite a few people and a lot of people recognize us. So thank you guys. And
Yeah.
it's awesome having the support.
Yep, it is. And what else on this Alpine trip?
There was some fun to be had when we got back from the Bull Moose. It was a good time.
There was a lot of fun to be had when we got back from the Bull Moose.
And then this morning was not as much fun to get ready to go to the hill climbs.
Yeah, we let her bark a little bit last night.
In the front yard at the house.
Yeah, I did a X Games stunt in the front yard of the old Alpine Airbnb.
You did a durability test on the Blackbird hoodie, I would say. You wadded her pretty good.
Yeah, you know, I have to do it for $200, so I'll probably never see.
That's a fact.
Yeah, these guys bet me $200 to go do it. Said stunt, so I go do it. I'm not $200 richer right now. I'm actually one hoodie down.
That's about a $70 loss.
Yeah,
No,
never bet these two money because unless it's pull tabs, you're not going to see it.
I was just hoping you weren't going to remember this morning.
Oh, I remember it.
it was borderline that though.
Oh yeah.
Never shook on it though.
Holy shit.
Technically.
He's one of those guys. Never shook on it.
Man, what a good time though. Like
Yeah.
if you guys haven't got your buddies together and went on a trip in a while, do it. Like we're notorious for saying we're going to and then not doing it.
Yeah.
But man, am I glad we booked this house and just said, you know what? These are the dates we're going.
Yeah.
And the snow was epic in Colorado when we left, and I hated to leave, but man, do I not. I'm so happy we just loaded up and came out here.
Yeah.
We will be doing it again. And I think we're not big on doing trips ourselves because we're such like homebodies, it seems like. But I
Well,
think
and you guys have the business, and
Yeah.
I have work.
we got
and-
work. And it's just hard. But I think this opened our eyes and just made us go, we can go do it. We've proven that we can do it now. And we can have fun doing it. It's not a waste, you know, like we don't have to go ride the best honey holes and stuff like that. Like we didn't ride any secret spots or anything like that. We didn't have a guide here. We just went out and just had fun. And man, that was really cool. Like,
Yeah.
I had a great time. Great time.
Yeah, I
10 out
think
of
we
10.
all did. Yeah, so I think probably what we'll do is in the next podcast, we will talk about Jackson Hole hill climbs. We did that today. So we'll talk about that next podcast. And then we'll probably wrap, for the most part, depending on snow conditions, we'll probably wrap the snowmobiling up for the season on the podcast somewhat.
Yeah.
Unless anything comes up, and we'll move on to talking about summer stuff and all the shenanigans we do in the spring and summer. So,
Yep. But yeah, please continue following along and see what we do this summer too, because we're gonna keep the pod going. We're gonna try to keep the videos coming, and it's gonna be some some entertainment for you guys, hopefully. So
Yep.
the support means a lot.
Yep. We appreciate the support, guys. You good?
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
And this might be one of the last ones Marcus is on too. Hopefully
Yep.
we'll get him in on the Jackson one here, but here pretty soon you got to head back to home and get farming.
Put corn in the ground and get stuff growing so we can get back out here again next winter.
Yep.
Got to make money to be able to come back and snowmobile.
That's right. Yeah. That's the way it works.
That's how it goes.
Yep.
So,
Well, we appreciate it, guys. If you've been following us all winter, we really appreciate it. And if there's anything you guys want to hear about, leave it in the comments, and we might shoot a pod on it. So Q&A and scumbag of the week will return next week.
when we're back in the studio.
Yeah, when we're back, when we have access to all that stuff, we kind of have a janky setup going on here because we don't have lights or anything like that. So that will be next week. So tune in there. The video of the ride day of us riding an Alpine will be out in the next couple days to a week on YouTube. Like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram.
Yep.
We really appreciate it. And until next time, let her eat.
See ya.